Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to make a quick guide for battle drills because it will be coming out in under 12 hours from right now. We have faced this Shadowfrost map before. It was right at the beginning of this season, and now we have a pretty good idea of the optimal pathing as well as the team formations. I have a bunch of different teams I've saved in the formations, which I'll be sharing with you guys that you can try depending on which heroes you have. Now the first thing about this map is that it is not equal. For example, the base on the right is not going to have any passageways to clear. They're immediately going to begin attacking the towers, whereas the base on the left is going to have the passageways, as you can see here, up to 30 different passageways. And so, generally speaking, the players who are stronger in your guild and better at taking down the towers, they should begin on the right side. And those who have more passage teams and don't maybe have all of the best heroes built up, they can begin on the left side. That is the recommendation. Now, as always in battle drills, you want to connect the two bases as quickly as possible, because then you're going to share your capture bonuses and both of your camp skills with the other base, and you can then both attack different areas together. So, in my opinion, the best way to connect is going to be down this curve we have here. So for example, the base on the right will attack this tower first, this guard of 5 enemies, and then followed up by this guard of 5 enemies, and then making it to the buff tower on the bottom, where you will be getting the moment of glory buff, and then continuing to work their way up the left side in order to connect to the base on the left. And the base on the left should clear these 5 passageways here and begin attacking the towers to make it a bit quicker for everyone to connect together. And the reason for that is this is going to be the easiest path to make it there, because if you look at the top path, which is the top curve path on the outer edge, you're going to run into this tower of guards, and these guards have magical like damage reduction, and they also become unaffected. And usually what you use for these 5-man tower teams are going to be some form of Iron crowd control nuking team, or even like a Taline team, and either way they're all magical based, and so you're not going to be able to clear these towers as easily. Now you can do it, and if you're strong enough you'll be able to break through and again go out around the outer edge on the top, but I just think it is easier to go down the outer edge on the bottom and connect to the other base. Then when you guys are both connected, then in my opinion, you do go around the outer edge on the top. So for example, tracing around here, and to get your other buff tower and buff selected as quickly as possible. Once you have both of your buffs, there is no choice. You will have to just get whichever buff is given to you as energy flow, and then also moment of glory. Then you have your buffs, and then you just want to try to clear out the map, trying to take down the towers that will give you the biggest capture bonus, because each, for example, like a 10 capture bonus increases your camp level by 10, increasing all of your stats, attack, defense, health by 10%. And so if you're going to be able to acquire these towers, it's going to increase the strength of your team and all of your different players' teams, and then you can begin attacking the more difficult towers and bosses towards the middle. Now there's specific towers here that you have on this diamond shape, the outer edge of the diamond shape, which are going to be one enemy. They are going to be kind of like a mini boss battle, not as obviously difficult or long to take down as the Shadow Merrily and Shadow Iron, who we have over here, but they are going to be a bit more challenging, and you're going to need to use your boss related teams, like single target oriented damage teams, in order to take them out. And so I would recommend you first of all clear all of the outer edges of the map, getting the 2 buffs, connecting to all your other base, and then you begin going towards the center. And that's just a recommendation. You can go. Honestly, the battle drills is not super difficult. Like, it shouldn't really matter which way you go. You probably will be able to get the initial clear, but this is just the optimal routing, basically. Okay, and then you go in here, you're going to then take out these, and then you're going to begin attacking the shadow bosses and eventually the main boss himself. So that is basically the pathing. It isn't too difficult. You're going to begin with a set amount of stamina. As you increase your camp level, eventually there comes a point where you do increase, for example, I think your stamina cap and the amount of stamina that you have, and each day, each of your heroes will regenerate 1 stamina per day, and each heroes will have a limit of 3 stamina. And when you begin attacking on day 1, they will all have that 3 stamina. So your key heroes that you want to, for example, use for your towers or even the bosses, you can use at least one of them or multiple of them on the first day, and they will regenerate over time. And if they're already at 3, they cannot gain more than 3. 3 is the cap, basically. Okay, so that is that. Now we're going to go ahead and show you guys the different team formations you can try to run. So there are going to be, I've put up 3 different teams for the 5-man tower teams. That's how I've labeled it. And for example, this is going to be usually the go-to team for a lot of people using the Wilder faction tiles. You'll have Iron crowd controlling the enemies, Arden for more AoE damage, Carolina high AoE damage, and then you also have Parissa, who deals a lot of damage when she can keep stacking like her flowers onto the enemies. She and Carolina are going to be the hardest hitting damages of this comp, and then Damien for healing and also the haste buff to increase your damage further. You can use the Frostfall spell, you can use a Harmonic spell. I think a lot of people are actually preferring the Harmonic spell in this comp, but you can try either one. Both are going to be great options, and this is going to be one version. The other version, if you want another set of team for the towers, especially if you're on the right base, you will need to have another and maybe even 3 different tower teams at the beginning, but definitely at least a secondary tower team. And for that one, I've come up with basically this one. If you have Talene built, like even to Mythic Plus or above, I would recommend this team as a Graveborn faction talent team, Bonnie and Talene on the tiles. You can have Nero and Elmas in front of those heroes to give them their charm effect to cause them to deal bonus true damage, and Ludovic to heal them to sustain the Talene so she can continuously cast her ultimate. And Bonnie and Talene, they both are dealing high AoE damage, and that is why I save Bonnie for this comp, because you could even use Bonnie in the Iron Nuke comp if you wanted, but then you don't have her for the other comp. So I think those are really the ways. And if you don't have Talene, just swap out Talene for Viperion. Viperion will also be good. You can still go for Nero in front of Bonnie. It's honestly a pretty good idea. Or you can go, Rowan will just allow you to charge your energy faster. But I think Nero in front of Bonnie is also very viable, because Bonnie is going to be dealing a lot of damage, and converting some of that into true damage will be good. Okay, so now we have some passageway teams. So for passageway teams, you just want to pick 3 heroes, because that is a minimum you will have to lock in order to attempt a stage. And the passageways are pretty easy. You have the full 90 seconds to clear them, and you just have to not die, and you have to clear them within the 90 seconds, which should be doable as long as you feel like any decently upgraded heroes of any faction. I just go 3 of the same faction to activate the faction talents, and for here I have a Graveborn Nuke with the Storm Strike spell, Sylvina Cicio on the back, and Igor to tank. It can work even if Igor is like lowly ascended. He's just kind of going to tank out for your team. Okay guys, for the Lightbearer team option, it will just be Merrily Corin on the buff tiles. I went for Storm Strike, but you could go for pretty much any artifact, and Lucius to tank for your team. This should also clear the passageways, no problem. If you want to build a team, a boss team using Corin and Merrily, then you should not be using this team. But if you are using other boss teams, which we will show to you, then you can use this team for passages. And like, for example, a Mauler team. Basically, I just tried to use heroes which are decently good, but they're not needed in any of the other teams for your passages. And even for the 5-man teams, the Iron team is going to be your dedicated for 5-man enemy towers, and I will again show you at the end of the video what I mean by 5-man enemy towers, but it's just basically any stronghold where there are 5 enemies you're attacking. The only other one in this map are going to be 1-man enemy strongholds like the ODs we saw, or the Shadow Merrily, Shadow Iron, and the main boss. For that you need a boss team, because you need single target like focus damage. Okay, now I have some free-to-play boss teams, and then I have the overall top pay-to-win boss teams, but these might not be actually usable depending on your level of upgrade. So I'm going to show you the free-to-play teams first. So here we have like a Wilder team. Leica can work at lower ascension. She's just there to be buffing up the attack speed of your team. Bonnie and Lily May. Bonnie has her Supreme Plus to cause the boss to take more damage from magical, and Lily May will be your dedicated damage dealer, and with Thorin in the front. I have Frostfall. These teams were actually made back when like that was the best artifact, but definitely you can go for Harmonic. That would probably be the best one I would recommend. Or you can do Blade Summon, you can do Frost. Honestly, pretty much anything will work. And Haywin is just here to heal and protect your team. Thorin will tank for you and also provide Soul Plunder debuff to cause the boss to take more damage. And then another free-to-play version is going to be a Mauler team with Odie and Mikola on the buff tiles. And you have Sonya buffing up Odie and Mikola. And you have Shakir, who will be buffing up your whole team. And Coco will be damage reduction for protecting your team. And again, you can go for Blade Summon spell. That's probably what I would recommend for this team over here. Okay, and then we have the overall top performing teams for the boss teams. So here we have a Wilder team similar to the Wilder team I showed you, but this is going to be even crazier because it has Odie and Lily May on the same team. You're going to have insane single target damage, and Parissa is going to be buffing up like one of your allies, I think probably the Lily May, and Hugin Mechanized Bond is going to further be buffing up Odie. This is probably going to work even for me at my Legendary plus Hugin. It'll probably be fine. Even if you have like legendary plus Brian, you can run it, or basically any other wild hero just to get the wild faction talents. But Lily May, Odie, these are heroes a lot of people have built up, so definitely try to run a team like this. If you don't have Hugin, just replace him for some other hero. Like Hugin is just to ramp up your damage further, but if you don't have him, you can go for another tank probably, or even like another healer. And then we have another top boss team. This is obviously a very almost pay to win team. It's a Hyper-G and Celestial team with Rainier, Talene. You would need to have Rainier at Mythic Plus if you want to run it. Otherwise, run something like Thorin like we showed. And you have Bonnie, Talene on the Stellar Bond, the Twins, and Cassidy as well. But you could probably replace Cassidy for something else. I don't think she's so important. But basically, it's the idea behind Bonnie and Talene together, or Lily May and Bonnie together. They deal a lot of magic damage. Bonnie's going to amplify that further. And this is going to be a great boss team. And as for the positioning of the twins, I believe, yeah, Elijah blue-haired in the back and Lila pink-haired in the front with the harmonic spell. And then finally, we have this final top team. This is going to be Elsa, Muriel, nuking team. And honestly, this can also be good for your 5-man enemy towers that you want to clear. You could try it there, or you can try it for a boss team with the Blade Summon spell. It is going to be Velka giving attack speed buff to all of these allies. Velka can probably work at low Ascension. However, if she's higher Ascension, her damage will be good because she deals good true damage, single target to the boss. And Neo Charms onto Muriel. Muriel with her Supreme Plus skill upgrade is pretty good. And then Elsa and Carolina are going to be dealing a lot of damage. Okay, so these are basically all the teams that we have now shared. Hopefully you guys can use these in order to get good like performance in battle drills this round, and also use the pathing guide that we talked about. But that is basically it. Overall, you guys should not really be struggling in order to get that first clear to get the 500 diamonds, especially if you follow like the tips that we mentioned. And just to reiterate, these are the 5-man enemy towers that I was mentioning. Any sort of stronghold, guard, and that is 5 enemies. These are the 1-man enemy, and there's only really 2 of them, one on either side. And then you have the Shadow Merrily, Shadow Iron, and then you have the main Grim Executioner boss. But these teams are the ones that you want to try to be running for all of these. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any other tips or any other teams, you can feel free to share them in the comment section. But that's going to be it for this video. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And if you guys are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We're on our road to 20,000 subscribers. Let's hit it before the end of the season. And also, guys, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. I look forward to chatting with you there. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.